Hey, hi, hello, happy Tuesday, or whenever you come across this. Let's see, how's that sound? We know it's going to be good, but we like to make sure. So here we are, though. There he is. Here I am, checking my sound. Here I am. Yep, good. All right, cool. So, yes, here we are, Tuesday, or whatever day you happen across this. We're ready to rock, just about anyway, into our final session. Yesterday we finished up the main part of the book and we got into one of the appendices. And so today we will get into the other one, which is the much more significantly long one, and also where this tree is going to get rearranged from how we commonly know it. So if you're a little worried, if you're a little nervous because maybe you don't have a super awesome grasp on Kabbalah. And well, Frater here even says that the student should have a pretty good grasp on Kabbalah before you get into his rearranging of things. Don't worry yourself too much. I mean, if you're that worried about it, then come back to this. Go over this book again. Go see our good buddy Travis. Go to his channel. Get refreshed on Dion Fortune's mystical Kabbalah. Definitely check out Lon Milo Duquette's Chicken Kabbalah. Um, and then come back to this. So that way, but only if you're really so worried about it. I know most of you are going to be okay. So, anyway, this is Q.B.L ready to bring you the final session of Q.B.L. If you're new here, or even if you're a repeat offender, be sure to hit a like, share, and subscribe. It is much appreciated. And hopefully, you spent the night praying yourself into insanity, attempting to make that first contact with your holy guardian angel. Hopefully you're really seeing the importance in that because that's about that's about the most important. So let's see. So hello, Emma Alessi. Hi, welcome. Gil Cap 3, good to see you again. I would like to know, why do I get trespassed? Well, Gil Cap 3, if you're trespassing in places you shouldn't be, then I'm pretty sure that's something you can get in trouble for. So that's my best guess. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But good to see you again. Welcome. All right. Shed a little light on the situation. Welcome in to all the rest of you just coming in. All right. Need to wet my whistle. Need to hack my sniffle. Haha. How do you like that one? Okay, that ought to do it. Cool. So we are ready to crack into this. At least I am. I hope you all are as well. This ought to be pretty exciting and maybe at least a little bit confusing. That's okay. We're not scared. Okay. Wonderful. So, Appendix 2, chapters 3 and 4, concerning the 22 paths and the attributions of the tarot trumps. Excellent. Speaking of tarot trumps, let's go ahead and pull a card. I was hesitant, but who cares? Let's do it. Let's see what we have in store for our last reading. It's not like there's, not like anybody's going to argue about it unless that one guy comes back who said tarot cards are from the devil. I was sad I didn't see that until after I ended the stream. But that's how it goes sometimes. Okay, it's you. It's actually you. 7 swords. Futility. The moon. Oh, and we had a Hierophant sticking to him. So we'll call that a 2 for the price of 1 type of reading. So 7 of swords. So that's Netzach in the mind, as well as the moon in Libra. So those reflective rays of the moon, that subconscious, you could say, needing to be balanced up. Here we see planetary symbols on the hilts of all these swords, all turned in on the main one that has the sun on it. So perhaps you're using those aspects of your mind in ways where you're, finding that it's rather futile. Maybe you need to regroup. Maybe you need to remember that center strength and turn these to your benefit rather than against you. The Hierophant here, Taurus, vow, the nail. Well, that's what nails us down, the demiurge, right? The 4 elements showing here, the goddess shining the light into that heart center. So maybe you need that light re-illuminated within, just perhaps, and maybe that'll be your key. As we see, he holds what could look like a key, or it could just look like a wand with 3 circles on top. Maybe that's your 3 gunas, and that's the key to your understanding, to your light being shown. Hard to say. But that's the reading for today. So however that might hit for each of you. The Hierophant being that hidden 5th element, since they had the 4 elemental figures surrounding him. And he's that spirit, again, nailed to the cross of matter. All right, so now let's read, huh? Now that there's so many of you here ready to rock. Appendix 2, chapters 3 and 4, concerning the 22 paths and the attributions of the tarot trumps. Section 1. Having written as far as the end of the brief description of the 17th trump called the star, I noticed the time, and finding it already the small hours of the morning of May 31st, I rested a moment from my labors on my little book. My mind went back to the words I had just written and underscored. The symbolism of the paths is more important when considered from the bottom to the top of the tree. I went to bed, being right weary, but this thought kept recurring to me until, of a sudden, a glimmer of its tremendous importance illuminated my understanding. I began mentally working on a plan which had never before been hinted at by any of the so called authorities. It seemed to have great possibilities, but I slept upon it and began further investigations in the morning. The results of these investigations, which have been in progress until this morning, June 2nd, 1922, have proved so far reaching in their consequences that I have found it difficult to decide as to the best manner of dealing with this discovery, which at first sight seems to revolutionize the whole system. Okay. I have decided, therefore, to present to you, and here I do not feel alone. I do not alone refer to new students, but to all those of whatever grade who have based their system of attainment on the tree of life. The first ideas of this revelation, but without dealing with the complexities which will occur to those who realize the consequences involved in making the further adjustments which appear to be indicated, or my own attempts to solve these problems. This explanation will involve a matter which had not been fully discussed in the previous pages, viz., the sword and the serpent. The Kabbalists tell us that the Sephiroth were emanated by means of the flaming sword or lightning flash, which descended from Kether unto Malkuth, as shown in the diagram, chapter 1. They also say that this was followed by the ascent of the serpent of wisdom, who thus formed the paths. They showed his head at the top of the tree in the path leading from Kether to Hokmah, which is in turn the first path of the flaming sword. All the known authorities have then continued to number the remaining 22 of the 32 paths of wisdom, from path 11 joining Kether and Hokmah to path 32 joining Yesod and Malkuth. Students have only to refer to such well-known authorities as Mr. W. Wynne Westcott in his Introduction to the Study of the Kabbalah, Watkins 1910, Book 777, London 1909, The Equinox, Volume 1, Number 2, which shows the attributions of Mr. Mathers and the Golden Dawn, etc., to prove this assertion to be a recognized fact. One may now question how it was that the serpent who formed the paths by ascending the tree could possibly have started at the top, and why previous commentators have never taken this vital idea into consideration. Well, okay then. Anyway, let us find out what would happen if we followed the serpent of wisdom, which enumerates, which here we've got Noon Het Sheen, which enumerates to 358, which the Kabbalists attributed to the Messiah. Oh, okay, and that's why I knew he was doing it for some reason, because then Messiah Mem Shin Yod Het also enumerates to 358. And remembering that the wisdom of God is foolishness with men, start out on our upward journey by the 11th path leading from Malkuth to Yesod and attributed to the tarot trump marked 0, the Fool. We shall then find, by following exactly the reverse order of the paths as they were numbered, keeping exactly to the order of the letters from Aleph to Tau, and adopting provisionally the attributions of the elements, planets, and zodiac, exactly as previously shown, that the tree will take on the following aspect. Okay, here we go. The 11th path from Malkuth to Yesod, attributed to air, which will be Aleph, the Fool, equals air. The 12th path from Malkuth to Hod, the sphere of Mercury, will be Bet, the magician, Mercury. Note his 4 elemental weapons coming from Malkuth, the sphere of the elements. Okay. The 13th path from Yesod, the sphere of the moon, to Hod, will be the high priestess. Gimel equals the moon. Note, she holds the Torah or tarot on her lap and has the moon under her feet. The 14th path from Malkuth to Netzach, the sphere of Venus, will be the Empress. Dalet equals Venus. The 15th path, okay. The 15th path from Yesod to Netzach will be the Emperor. Consort of the Empress equals Hay equals Aries. Second deacon of Aries is ruled by Venus according to Egyptian astrology, though I am only provisionally content in regard to this path. The 16th path from Hod to Netzach, the sphere of Venus, is the Hierophant. Val, Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. Hey, that's what we pulled. Note the position of the Hierophant in the center of the veil between the first and second orders. The 17th path from Hod, the sphere of Mercury, to Tifereth is the Lovers, Zion, Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Note the sun above their heads on card. Okay. The 18th path from Yesod, the splendor of the moon, the sphere of the moon, to Tifereth is the Chariot, Het, which is Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. Initiates will note the symbolism of this card of the new Aeon uniting with that of the Hierophant, and now he has harnessed the black and white sphinxes, etc. The 19th path from Netzach to Tifereth, the sphere of the sun, is Strength, Tet, Leo, which is ruled by the sun. Note the lion of the sun, or Leo, and the woman of Venus, equals Netzach. The 20th path from Hod, the sphere of Mercury, to Gibra is the Hermit, Yod, Virgo, the other sign, besides Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. The 21st path from Tifereth to Gibra, the sphere of Mars, is the Wheel of Fortune, Koph, Jupiter. Here we find something which does not seem to follow this wonderful plan of the planetary paths meeting their own Sephiroth. And in this one instance, I am going to indicate the nature of a change which might make a great deal of difference to the rest of our plan. There appears no valid reason why Koph should be attributed to Jupiter and Pe to Mars. The letters are very similar in appearance, except that Pe has an additional tongue and means the mouth, while Koph is the palm of the hand. On the other hand, Jupiter is the sphere of authority, from whence comes the instructions for the order and might be Pe, the mouth, while Mars, with its new aeon implicits as the lord of silence and of strength, is perhaps better symbolized by the palm of the hand, which is empty, i.e., Koph. Making this provisional change, we should find the 21st path from Tifereth to Gibra, the sphere of Mars, is the blasted tower, Koph, Mars. Also note that the palm of the hand is adjacent to the path of Yod, the hand. Okay. The 22nd path from Netzach, the sphere of Venus, to Chesed is justice, Lamed Libra, which is ruled by Venus. The 23rd path from Tifereth to Chesed would be the hanged man, Mem, water, and Chesed is attributed to water. The 24th path from Gibra, the sphere of Mars, is to Chesed is death. Noon, Scorpio, ruled by Mars. Note that this forms the second reciprocal path or veil of the abyss, above which ideas are only true insofar as they contain their own opposites. Past this veil, I do not feel permitted to lead you at this time. You may trace up the correspondences for yourselves, and will find that in some instances, according to the accepted order of things, there will be difficulties in making perfect adjustments. One will also discover some startling symbolisms, such as the conjunction of the sun and moon, of the letters O and N, etc. But the whole matter is of such importance that I can make no attempt to disclose my further surmises. Enough has been said to establish the possibility of a perfect system of correspondences worthy of Thoth, who gave us his book. I need only add that it is worth noting that the paths below Tiferet are those of the units in the Hebrew alphabet, and this is the first order. Those below the supernal triad are the tens corresponding to the second order, while the four supernal paths are the hundreds, and their numeration is 1,000, which is a large aleph. Thus, we have the third order of the Holy Kabbalah. Yeah, you might want to definitely have a good grasp of the tree before you start really worrying about making this stick or work for you. But we'll see what else he has to say. Section 2. Those who are interested in the gradual working out and fulfillment of the prophecies of Liber Legis, the book of the law for the new aeon, given to as a result of the equinox of the gods, March 21st, 1904, may note the following verses which may have a bearing on the matter just disclosed. The divinatory verses delivered by Therion as representing the present 6 months and 18 sun's passage, so the tarot to the trump 18 sun's passage from Aries to Libra, or March 21st, 1922 to September 21st, 1922, are from chapter 3, verses 70 and 71. I will quote the previous and following verses in addition. 69. There is success. 70. I am the hawk-headed Lord of Silence and of Strength. My nemesis shrouds the night blue sky. 71. Hail, ye twin warriors about the pillars of the world, for your time is nigh at hand. 72. I am of the Lord of the double wand of power, the wand of the force of Kophnia, but my left hand is empty, for I have crushed in universe, and naught remains. Without making comment on these verses, I will quote one or two others which will seem significant. Chapter 1, verse 49. Abrogate are all rituals, all ordeals, all words and signs. Rahorquit hath taken his seat in the east at the equinox of the gods. Verse 50. There is a word to say about the hierophantic task. Behold, there are 3 ordeals in one, and it may be given in 3 ways. The gross must pass through the fire. Note by Frater Achad, Sheen, the old 31st path. Let the fine be tried in intellect, and the lofty chosen ones in the highest. Thus ye have star and star, system and system. Let not one know well the other. Note, 50 was the word of the last 6 months. Verse 52. If this be not aright, if ye confound the space marks, note, pass between the Sephiroth, saying they are one, or saying they are many, if the ritual be not ever unto me, then I expect the direful judgments of Rahorquit. Verse 54. Change not so much as the style of a letter, for behold, thou, O prophet, shall not behold all these mysteries hidden therein. Verse 55. The child of thy bowels, he shall behold them. Verse 56. Solve the first half of the equation, leave the second untacked. But thou hast all in the clear light, and some, though not all in the dark. And then over here we see on this previous page, we've got what he had given us so far. So figure 11, we see the Empress now. So yeah, the Fool, actually we'll start there. The Fool now going from Malkuth to Yesod, Magician from Malkuth to Hod, Empress from Malkuth to Netzach, from Yesod to Netzach the Emperor, the High Priestess from Yesod to Hod, crossing these first two, or this path connecting like extremes on the lowest level is how we'll word it. Hod and Netzach, we got the Hierophant. Okay, so then going up the left-hand pillar, we have the Hermit here at the lowest from Hod to Gibera. On the right-hand pillar from Netzach to Chesed, we have Justice. From Tifereth, connecting to the rest of these paths. So from Tifereth and Netzach, we have Strength or Lust. Tifereth to Hod, we have the Lovers. Tifereth to Gibera, we have the Tower. Tifereth to Chesed, we have the Hanged Man. And then we come up again, and now we're on that higher level of crossing or connecting those extremes. And that's going to be from Gibra to Chesed, where we see the death card. And then here we'll have that Veil of the Abyss and the Supernal Triad up there, which he says work out for ourselves. But I looked and it shows more of it. So very interesting. And probably very confusing if you do not have a pretty solid grasp on the tree already. So yeah, you might want to put a bookmark in this if so, and get the rest of that locked in real good. Or maybe you don't care. So move accordingly. All right. So he says, note, one meaning of this equation may be that the Sephiroth equals the paths, the clear light of the lightning flash, and the paths but partially interpreted. Verse 57 is significant. The first part should be studied with care by those in possession of Liber Legis. I quote the latter part. All these old letters of my book are aright, but Zadi is not the star. This also is secret. My prophet shall reveal it to the wise. He did, transposing the emperor and the star, thus bringing the emperor to its present position. A. Pretty sure that's just for his initial, but one should further note chapter 1, verse 34, in which Nuit says, the ordeals I write not, the rituals shall be half known and half concealed. The law is for all. Section 3, June 2nd, 1922, 6:30 p.m., 5:30 Sun Time. Since writing the above, other matters are becoming clear to me. As usual, the book of the law supplies the key. I remembered the verse from chapter 2 wherein Hadith says, come, all ye, and learn the secret that hath not yet been revealed. I, Hadith, am the complement of Nu, my bride. And I decided to look up the quotation and perhaps place it at the beginning of my book, The Bride's Reception, for which it seemed suitable. I also intended to place at the beginning the words of Nuit, recently quoted. The gross must pass through fire. Let the fine be tried in intellect, and the lofty chosen ones in the highest, thus giving a sort of hint at the secret of the inner order, and instituting a test of intelligence by some subtle means in the body of the book, which might lead others to make the same discovery without having read this appendix. I also obtained some light on Hadith's statement, for he being the serpent might indicate the paths, while Nuit might in a measure represent the Sephiroth. His complement with possibly an additional Sephiroth to make 11, which is her number. On looking at Liber Legis, I first noticed the words in chapter 1, verse 16, wherein Hadith states, I am the Empress and the Hierophant. Thus 11 as my bride is 11. And the mystery of the new path of Hay immediately presented itself to my mind once more. Then in verse 15, just above, the Empress and the King are not of me, for there is a further secret. The Empress and King or Emperor are together in my present arrangement, but the Emperor seems wrong. What this further secret is, I have not yet tried to discover, as it involves the main question of making changes in the paths, etc. The next words that drew my attention were in chapter 2, verse 2, following those I first quoted. I am not extended, and Cobb's is the name of my house. I had, of course, attempted various interpretations of these words before, such as not extended being the extension of not in a mystical way, concerning law, which is not. I had also stated that I believed Malkuth to be the house of Hadith, see Liber AVM, a closed sphere, etc. I had remarked, too, that the sum of the numbers from 1 to 31 equals 496, a perfect number which reduces to 13, Achad unity, and the numeration of Malkuth, but I had never put these facts together so as to read I am not. Law equals 31. Extended 1 plus 2 plus 3, etc., plus 31 equals 496. And Cobb's is the name of my house. Therefore, Malkuth, the kingdom, which I fancy contains all the Sephiroth, this number, 496, is also that of Lamed Vau Yod Tet Noon Final. Leviathan. Oh, hey, okay. The dragon or serpent, which probably represents Hadid. Now it is written, the perfect and the perfect are one perfect and not two, nay, are none. This is a perfect number, and Nuit is the bride. Malkuth equals the bride of Hadid. May it not be that Hadid and Nuit are united in Malkuth, and that in some way this is the 11th Sephirah, if we put in Doth, and that the fool was numbered 0, so as not to upset the 32 paths, which would otherwise be 33, viz., 2 knights on 1 horse. Well, shoot. Section 4. June 3rd, 1922. Last night, after writing the above, I was obliged to take a class in The Vision and the Voice. We studied the ninth, eighth, and seventh ethers. During this study, many illuminating ideas came to me. One I particularly remember in the seventh ether. Equinox 1, number 5, page 117. The 5 and the 6 are balanced in the word abrahadabra, and therein is the mystery disclosed. But the key unto this gate, Dalet, is the balance of the 7 and the 4, and of this thou hast not even the first letter. I remarked to myself how clearly the mystery of 5 equals 6 is shown when the chariot is attributed to the path from Yesod to Tifereth, as it is in my revised order, but also that Libra, the balance is now between Netzach and Hesed, the 7 and the 4. Also, I particularly noticed the relationship of Iwas, the minister of Rahor Quet, to the seer, and to Adonai, his lord, who is again but the viceroy of the unknown king. Further, I was struck by the words, page 110, of the angel of the pyramid. The light is come to the darkness, and the darkness is made light. Then is light married with light, and the child of their love is that other darkness wherein they abide and have lost name and form. Therefore did I kindle him that had not understanding. And in the book of the law did I write the secrets of truth that are like unto a star and a snake and a sword. And unto him that understandeth at last do I deliver the secrets of truth in such wise that the least of the little children of the light may run to the knees of the mother and be brought to understand. Many more points might be studied, but I have not had the time. Particularly did I miss a point noticed by Brother S, who asked me to repeat it, but I could not find the place. And it was page 104, until the ibis be revealed unto the crab, and the sixfold star become the radiant triangle. But this I have since been led to discover. After arriving home at night, I picked out from the bookcase the Sefer Yetzirah, Dr. Westcott's translation, limited to 100 copies, published by Robert H. Fryer. Okay. And notice some interesting passages as follows. 10 are the numbers of the ineffable Sephiroth, 10 and not 9, 10 and not 11, possibly warning me from the track I was following earlier in the evening. Learn this wisdom and be wise in the understanding of it. Investigate these numbers and draw knowledge from them. Fix the design in its purity, and pass from it to its creator seated on his throne. To this was appended the following notes. Ritengelius gives, replace the formative power upon his throne. Postellus gives, restore the device or workmanship to its place. The above are remarkable as proof that the restoration of the order of the Kabbalah is the main work. Also, it may be that having attained in Asaya, one goes on to the Yetziratic world and readjusts the symbols of formation. I noticed too some of the remarks about the three mother letters, but could not quite see the points indicated. This morning I took the Sefer Yetzirah with me and on my way to the office opened it at the following words. He created this universe by three Sephirim, number, writing, and speech. This gave me food for thought about the three mothers again. Then I turned idly to the middle of the book, which contains other tracts, among them the Count of Gabaliz. My eyes caught these words. All right, let me take a drink real quick. Well, if nothing else, this is certainly a good case study in the Kabbalah driving you insane until you do what it's meant to do. An oracle. There is above the celestial fire an incorruptible flame, always sparkling, the spring of life, the fountain of all being, the original of all things. This flame produceth all things, and nothing perisheth but what it consumes. It makes itself known by itself. This fire cannot be contained in any place. 'Tis without body and without matter. It encompasses the heavens, and there goes out from it a little spark, which makes all the fire of the sun, of the moon, and of the stars. And again another oracle. There is in God an immense profundity of flame. Nevertheless, the heart should not fear to touch this adorable fire, or to be touched by it. It will never be consumed by this so sweet fire, whose mild and tranquil heat makes the binding, the harmony, and the duration of the world. Nothing subsists but by this fire, which is God Himself. This set me to thinking that the path of Sheen must be the one from Kether to Tifereth, without any further shadow of a doubt. Also, is not this the 31st path which governs the sun and moon, Tiferet and Yesod, which is the origin, Al, equaling 31, of all things, wherein nothing, La, not equaling 31, perisheth, but what it consumes? Some of the words I have written large to point out the Kabbalistic ideas clearly. By the time I had arrived at the office, I had determined to set up a tree of life and to place the three mother letters on the middle pillar. And on so doing, I again remembered the words. He created this universe by the three Sephirim, number, writing, and speech. Is not this the work of Hermes, the thrice greatest, the universal Mercury? And do not the three mother letters thus arranged form the caduceus, Sheen above Mem above Aleph, on the rod of the middle pillar? With the winged globe of Kether, Hokmah, and Bina above. Having therefore fixed our Mercury, the next thing is to use wisdom in the wise understanding of the matter, as so as to fix the design in its purity. This I decided to do by means of the planetary and zodiacal symbols only, leaving the elements fixed in their proper place and not worrying with the letters or the trumps for the moment. I first placed the symbols in the 10 Sephiroth. Then I noticed the connection. Sheen equals number equals fire. Mem equals writing, which flows like water. Aleph equals speech which cometh from air. So now let's take a look at this figure that's going to be on the other page, where he has this caduceus down here at the bottom is going to be Malkuth, Yesod here, Tifereth here, Tether at the top, Hokmah, Bina, and then we can see Sheen, Mem, Aleph. Huh. Well, well, well. But also Sheen is all these being spirit, so that its three flames are water, air, fire, indicating Binah, the root of water, Kether, the root of air, the divine breath, and Hokmah, the root of fire. These form the winged globe of the third order. Also, the tarot trump, the judgment, shows this, for we have the air coming from the trumpet, the music of the spheres, the figures arising in the form of fire, and the water in the background indicating the waters of death, the path of Scorpio, which is the veil of the abyss. Also notice that this path of Sheen is divided by the reciprocal paths into three, as is the path of Mem into two, while the path of Aleph is single and alone. To continue after this digression with the paths of the planets and signs, as before, Mercury joins Malkuth and Hod. The moon joins Yesod and Hod. Venus joins Malkuth and Netzach. Now we need something ruled by Venus in place of the Aries attribution. This is evidently Cancer, since his path has been given to men. Taurus, ruled by Venus, unites Hod and Netzach. Gemini unites Hod and Tiferet. Cancer has been disposed of. Aww. Leo unites Netzach and Tifereth. Virgo unites Hod and Gibra. Libra unites Netzach and Hesed. Scorpio undoubtedly unites Gibra and Hesed. So far, up to the veil of the abyss, we have only two paths unfilled. What about Aries, ruled by Mars, in which sign is the sun at the vernal equinox? This must join Tifereth and Gibra, where we had previously placed the Mars symbol. The other path from Tifereth to Chesed is not clear for the moment, so we proceed to put our certainties in order. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is tempting, but had better be reserved. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, must either join Gibra to Binah or Tifereth to Binah as before. The latter is undoubtedly correct, for it shows the devil connecting with the sun and Oyan uniting with noon, Scorpio, forming On, the sun. This leaves but one path for the Mars symbol, which must join Gibra and Binah. Now we must deal with Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. There are but two vacant paths, one from Binah to Kether and the other from Binah to Hokmah. The tarot seems to decide this. The woman with the stars above her head and the water at her feet evidently connects the sphere of the stars, Hokmah, with the great sea, Binah. This leaves the Saturn symbol for the path from Binah to Kether. Now, we come to Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. What could be better than using our blank path from Tiferet to Hesed, since we have used the one on the other side for Aries, and Pisces, the last sign, might as well meet the sun and represent the grand cycle of the zodiac, with the sun passing from Aries to Pisces, as it is now passing into Aquarius, the old path from which we took Aries. Also, the tarot card, the moon, shows Kephra rising from the pool, and this symbol again indicates the conjunction of sun and moon, which was symbolized in the second order in a secret manner. This, combined with the fact that Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, completes the evidence in favor of our choice. We have now but three symbols left: the Sun, Jupiter, and Sagittarius. And we have three paths from Kether to Hokmah, from Hokmah to Chesed, and from Hokmah to Tifereth. If the Sun is to unite with Tifereth, there is only one path for it, that from Hokmah to Tifereth. We still have Jupiter to arrange for, as well as Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. Obviously, path out of Chesed, we two symbols. I prefer to give it to Jupiter, though one of the symbols has to be placed among the supernals, and it might be this one. Anyway, leave him there for the present. while we attempt to decide the important question of Soul and Sagittarius. Can Sagittarius be the path from Kether to Hokmah? It does not seem likely, but it might be the arrow across the abyss from Tifereth to Hokmah, as it were Tifereth's connection with the star universe. The tarot card Temperance equals Sagittarius shows a figure who is pouring fluid from one vessel to another. And in the old cards, one vessel is red and the other blue. Path of Sheen and the blue of Hesed. This card should be ruled by Jupiter. And this would indicate the connection, especially if we remember that the waters of death and the waters of life may contain an occult mystery. And this path crosses Noon or Scorpio. There can be little doubt of this attribution. This really leaves the disputed supernal path from Kether to Hokmah either to the Sun or Jupiter. And I had in my design this morning given it to the Sun, which makes the attributions wonderfully perfect. I now once more intend to change the arrangement, though tentatively, leaving this the final question to the higher powers. With Jupiter, the father of the gods, joining Kether and Hokmah, we should find the Wheel of Fortune, representing the primum mobile or the beginning of the whirling motions. Also, the three principles and the centrum in the trigono, producing the system of revolving orbs in Hokmah. Also, in the heavenly hexagram, Kether is attributed to Jupiter. In that case, the sun will be the path from Hokmah to Tifereth. And this represents him as taking up his work as the logos of the solar system. And the path from Chesed to Hokmah will be Sagittarius, which is naturally ruled by Jupiter. This makes all the signs of the zodiac meet their rulers perfectly. Also, the 32nd path is called the administrative intelligence. And this is the office of Jupiter, although, of course, the Sun may be said to rule the planets. Anyway, the Holy Spirit of the 31st path governs the Sun and Moon without a doubt and is ruler under Kether of the central pillar. Now, I have only a few more remarks to make in order to complete my day's investigations. Nuit says, change not so much as the style of a letter. And again, all these old letters of my book are aright, but Zodi is not the star. I think this means that Zodi is not equals law equals 31, the star. For she is combined with the original Al, Sheen, Hadith of the 31st path and is herself the 29th path, which equals 11. This was the fourth path of the old system, and 31 equals 3 plus 1 equals 4. I shall therefore leave all the attributions of letters and cards as they were. All that one has to do is to arrange them in their proper order, and behold, this is the mystery of the third order of the Kabbalah, it being the third order of the paths, and it is for those who are to be tried in the highest, these the decision between the Sun and Jupiter. The first order is for those who must pass through fire. The second order is to try the intellect. And the third order is for those who have coordinated their understanding. Just a few more notes made this morning. Hadith says, I am the Empress and the Hierophant. Thus 11 as my bride is 11. Considering our new plan, we find the Hierophant, Taurus, on the path from Hod to Netzach, and the Empress joining Malkuth to Netzach, while between them is Cancer on the path attributed to the Emperor or King in the second order, but Het equals 418, should be the Hierophant in the new Aeon, and therefore take the place of the past Hierophant, Osiris the Bull. The Hierophant, in a certain sense, passes to the path of Cancer and the Chariot to the path of Taurus without changing the marking of the cards in any way. Then we find the old Hierophant taking the place of the Emperor or He, and the Hierophant, being Val, unites the son and daughter, since Het, the path of the third order, is a letter like He, but connected at the upper liner head, so that the letter is really like the head, Resh, the sun connected with Val, the sun. These letters produce RV, the root of air, equals the fool, also of Rhoda, the wheel. Also note that Cancer, the crab, goeth sideways, which is the move of the Hierophant or bishop in chess. Huh. Thus also has the past Hierophant gone sideways. For the old Aeon is passed away, and all things are ruled by the one in the chariot, who hath harnessed the black and white sphinxes, and sits on the cubic stone, which is Yesod, the foundation of the universe. Who, in his secret name and splendor, is the Lord initiating, and his chariot rolls straight ahead. Well, shoot. This is pretty cool. Even if it's a little confusing, it's still pretty cool. Okay, Amen. Section 5. June 3rd, 11:49 p.m., Sun Time 10:49. Liber Legis, Chapter 1, Verse 49. It's a lot of 49s. Good. Abrogate are all rituals, all ordeals, all words and signs. Rahor Queet hath taken his seat in the east at the equinox of the gods. And let Asar be with Issa, who are also one. But they are not of me. Let Asar be the adorant, Issa the sufferer. Hur in his secret name and splendor is the Lord initiating. Note, Asar equals the bull equals Taurus. Let him be, that is, remain, with Issa, the hanged man equals men, who also are one. These their paths cross on the tree of life, third order. Hur in his secret name and splendor is the Lord initiating. These Hur is to be considered as on the path from Hod equals splendor to Netzach, thus indicating him as the victorious one, though his attributions to Cancer and the path from Yesod to Netzach must remain the same. But there is much more than this, for He became the path of Val, when the bull symbolically passed to the place of the past Hierophant, viz., the path of Het, thus Val Het, or excuse me, Val He, were united, even as it is clear that the daughter equals the world equals Tau, has also been raised to the throne of the mother, for Tau is now on the path from Binah to Kether, where she was first tempted by the old serpent, Saturn. Thus we obtain the idea HV, but we also found Het, the new Hierophant or Lord initiating, equals Val, combined with Resh, which is VR. Now then, these ideas combining into HVVR, which is Hur, or we can say that He is Resh and Val separated, and obtain Hru or Heru. Also, if the vowel be reversed and added to Resh, or rather combined with it, we get Tau equals VT, the letter shown on the old tarot trump by the chariot. But we must not actually change the unity of the arrangement as it stands, for we find the triad Malkuth, Yesod, Netzach joined by the paths Aleph, Het, Daleth, which is Achad, unity, and Aheba, love through 13, which is the mystery of the uniting of the son and daughter. Now, Hur spelt Hey Val Val Resh equals 217 equals 10 Malkuth or Kether, or Io equals Jove, etc. See Mystery of Jupiter in the Supernal Triad. But spelt Hey Zadi Zadi, oh, excuse me, Hey Oyen Oyen Resh equals 345. And this suggests the 47th problem of Euclid and Masonry. Now, the Sephiroth 3, 4, 5 suggest these proportions on the tree. Then the lost path across the abyss would be shown in this triangle. What do we obtain? Okay. So here, figure 13, where he's showing that triad where the paths from Bina, Chesed, Gibra. The Egyptian Isis, Osiris, Horus. Not that alone, however, but the magic squares of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. Now note, the supernal paths are Saturn and Jupiter. Did these two males give birth to the idea of Mars? And thus, as we see indicated by the Mars square in diagram, which covers the old path of Aleph, produce the bastard of the swastika, for the swastika is 17 on the square of Mars, thus causing the confusion of ideas in regard to the old path of Aleph and representing the first creative path, when this should have been the path of Sheen, the Holy Spirit, and the universal Mercury. Herein is perhaps the mystery of the three lost fathers, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, or Horus the Elder. For they all got lost somewhere and are represented by the three mothers, forming the caduceus of the universal Mercury, which represents both male and female in one. Again, referring to Cancer, 69 by shape equals Samek, the prop, and Tet, the serpent. Not bad for the serpent and staff of Moses. And it may be that the arrow or prop will yet be the means of raising the serpent to its true estate. So here he's showing that same diagram, but then with these magical squares overlaid. 217 HVVR also equals the Hebrew word for air, which is Aleph equals 1. And these ideas combined give 69 plus 1 equals 70, the I. But the new hierophant, Het, equals 418. And 418 is the numeration of Haru Raha, which is the word of this present equinox, Sun and Aries. Heru, we have already explained. Ra may be the sun, or R, I think that's supposed to see, so Het, light, of which 5 equals 6, or abrahadabra equals 418, is the key in the second order. Then Ha is perhaps He or some mystery of the third order. I suggest that it has to do with Aleph, whose change of position was the key of the second order, and He, which had to be changed and whose path was taken by Het, equals 418 in the third order. The present arrangement of the paths gives A, CH, D. If read in one direction, but DACH equals 418 if we continue the cycle. Anyway, the initials of Heru Raha, HRH, equals 210, which is a very significant number in the new aeon. Now note the 74th verse of chapter 3 of Liber Legis. There is a splendor in my name, hidden and glorious, as the son of midnight is ever the sun. Does not this again suggest the splendor and name of the victorious one? Again, in the next and last verse of the book, the ending of the words is the word abrahadabra, equals 418, equals Parzival, equals the fool. See chapter 1. And abrahadabra, it shall be his child, and that strangely. The book of the law is written and concealed. Om equals 111 equals Aleph the fool. Ha equals 6 equals vow equals the son and the Lord initiating, who is now Het 418. Finally, note 345 equals Sheen, Mem, and He. The last letter is the breath of the Holy Spirit of air, thus suggesting the arrangement of the three mothers in their true position. All right, section 6, Sunday, June 4th. Last night, further mysteries began to clear up in a wonderful manner. The supernal triad is now composed of the three Sephiroth joined by the paths of Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius, or the wheel, the universe, and the star. But it is written, although I explained this in another manner formerly, Zodi is not the star. There we go. But we had three paths that were difficult to adjust, all of which had a claim. One of these was Resh, the sun. Suppose we substitute this for Zodi. What should we see? The three paths joining the supernal triad would then be Kaf, Tau, Resh, Keter, the crown. But if Zodi is not the star, then perhaps Resh is the star, as well as the letter of the sun. This would show the whole mystery of the universe, the wheel, the sun, stars, planets, and elements, all in the supernal triad, which is the star of the third order, the threefold star. And look at the numbers of the Sephiroth combined. For the first mystery of the Seraphim of the Sephirim is number. 1 plus 2 equals 3, the Trinity. 1 plus 3 equals 4, the Tetrad. 2 plus 3 equals 5, the Flaming Star. 1 and 2 combined equals 12, equals He, Vau, Aleph, or Hua. He referred to Mater, Vau to Pater, and Aleph to Corona, etc. 13, Achad, unity, and AHBH, love, etc. 23 equals joy and life. 21 equals Aleph He Vau He equals existence, being, the Kether name of God. 31 equals Aleph Lamed, God and all. And Lamed Aleph equals not. 31 is also the key of the book of the law, etc. 32 equals Aleph He, Yod He, Vau He, the 32-fold name in which Ahie and Jehovah are coalesced, which, if the three He's are taken for the three mothers, gives 358. The Messiah and also the serpent. There are many other important attributions. Thus all cometh from Kether the crown, which containeth the mystery of the three fathers, Jupiter, Saturn, and Sol, and the three whirling forces of life in the wheel, the swastika figure in the star, and the ellipse of the universe. There are other mysteries about these alternative paths, which may mean something, although they do not conflict with this truly wonderful Trinity in unity. For had The arrow equals Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, been put in the place of Jupiter. And the spirit Sheen been included in the center of the triad. We should have obtained the numeration 60 plus 40 plus 60 plus 400 plus 200 plus 300 equals 960, which plus the 3 Sephiroth equals 963, equals Achad equals unity, spelt fully. Also, the Hebrew for garland, crown, a little wreath. May not this be the crown of victory on the head of 418, as het in the midst of are the mist and vapor? Excuse me, that'd be odd. Aleph Dalet, the mist and vapor, which concealed him in unity, which is Aleph, which is the pure fool. Section 7, June 5th, 1922. Notes. Possible date of plan of Kabbalah indicated by Sun between Aries and Pisces in grand cycle of zodiac. Note, change in position of Hay places this path in connection with Sun equals Sun, marriage of daughter to Sun. Note, sword, snake, and star, 3 orders. Note, lion equals Leo, lies down with lamb equals Aries. Note, horoscope for 31st, Mercury entering Cancer is very remarkable and seems to indicate Aeon of Ma'at. Note, Son of Midnight may indicate Resh attributed to star. Note, keys of supernals 21 and 10 equals 31. Also, path 1 to 2 equals 3 principles on wheel. 1 to 3 equals 4 elements in the world. 2 to 3 equals flaming star or sun and star combined. 1 to 6 equals 31st paths, etc. Section 8, June 5th, midnight, sun time. I have been making further considerations in the light of a color plan of the third order which I made today. See plate 4 between pages 110 and 111. We've looked at that one. I perceive, 1, that the paths of Gemini and Virgo should be interchanged in order to make the harmony more perfect. 2, I began further investigation of the supernal triad according to the numbers of the keys. I find that the symbolism is indeed perfect if we substitute the actual sun card for Aquarius. Thus we obtain, so Kaf, Wheel of Fortune here, going from Kether to Hokmah. Resh, the sun, going from Hokmah to Binah. From Kether to Binah, we have Tau, the world of the universe. And then from Kether going down to would be Tifereth, Sheen, the judgment card. KTHR equals Kether the crown, as before from letters. 21 plus 10 equals 31. 21 plus 10 plus 19 equals 50. And it is written, 50 are gates of understanding. While Sheen, the path from 1 to 6 equals 20, which plus 50 equals 70 equals Oyan, the eye, in the triangle. Now, Zadi is not the star, for the star is the eye, Oyan. Therefore, Oyan is the star and Zadi the devil. Well, shoot. Now, 70, the eye plus the spirit equals 300 equals 370. There we go. Is Aash equals creation. The star should now be the path from Hokmah to Tifereth, thus harmonizing the sun and zodiac. The path of noon, which intersects those of Oyan and Zodi, gives us Nox, night, and Sheen equals the light that shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. Also, the swastika represents 4 L's equals 30 times 4 equals 120. That is fourfold justice, and on the key of the city of Babylon. Again, Oyan and Noon, O-N, are united since the paths join. Also, Zodi, or Oyan Zodi, equals the tree of life, and also suggests ox, Aleph. Now note, 22 are the mansions of my father, but there cometh an ox that shall set his forehead against the house, and it shall fall. For all these things are the toys of the magician and the maker of illusions, that barreth the understanding from the crown. See Vision and Voice, page 142. Note also how love is the law, love under will is clearly shown on the tree. For love, Venus, is the law, Libra. Love, Chesed, under Samek, temperance, will, Hokmah. I notice also that this should be the emphasized statement for love is the law, and the law is for all, while do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, implies in one way the future, for this freedom must be won. Note, thou hast made man a little lower than Elohim, 86. Thou hast crowned him with glory and honor. The paths of 666 now unite with Tifereth and Hod, but 86 is Eheyi Adonai. Section 9 of the mysteries of the beginning. So here he's showing us that same figure as before. Bereshit up here in Hebrew, which is translates. He's told us in the beginning. All right, so June 8th, 1922. Last night, further mysteries were opened up to me. Firstly, Kaf equals 20 conceals the letter Yod, for this letter spelt in full equals 20. Again, Yod Vav Dalet, which is Yod spelt out, is concealed in the shape of the letter Aleph. Therefore, when it was written, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, this meaning in the head or in wisdom, the word Rashit, the head suggests Resh, which is one of the paths of the supernal triad, just as the path of Kaf, the palm of the hand, suggests Yod, the hand, as well as concealing it numerically as shown above. But the word Rashith is all to be found in Kether, the supernal triad of the crown. For the first letter, Resh, is the path from Hokmah to Bina. Aleph can be traced through Kaf as above shown. Sheen is the Holy Spirit in the midst. Yod is concealed in Kaf, and Tau is the path from Kether to Bina. But the word used in Genesis, Bereshit, which is in the beginning, but since Resh comes on the reciprocal path or horizontal line, we see that Resh, with this line as the base, forms Bet. Thus, the whole word may be traced to the supernal triad. Again, Kaf is the trump numbered 10, equals Yod by numeration and Aleph by shape. And as the trumps 21 plus 10 equals 31 equals Al, the word of Kether, so also Kaf, since it conceals Yod, represents Pei. the mouth, which utters the word of wisdom or hokmah. It is interesting to note the symbolism of the letters of the supernal paths when spelt in full. Resh equals Resh Yod Shin, and we see this also conceals the Yod or tongue and the holy triple spirit Shin. And these paths of Resh and Shin are conjoined. Again, Shin, which is Shin Yod Nun, conceals the Yod, as it does the three mothers. And it terminates the Nun, which path it crosses before it enters Tiferet, the sun, which was Resh in the supernal triad. And Tau vow, which is TV, and this conceals the vow or sun as well as by shape, Resh and vow, RU, the divine breath or Ruach Elohim. This again is the root of Rota, the wheel, which is shown in the path of Kaf, the wheel of fortune. But in Tau, the universe, we see the ellipse. Therefore, it is suggested that the whirling of the premium mobile, Rashith Ha-Galim, was first about an axis, and then the whole revolution took an elliptic path. Notice also how Sheen equals 300 equals Ruach Elohim. And again, that the path of Sheen, 300 united with Kether, equals 1 equals 301 equals Ash equals fire. While this number 301 is equal to my Lord, the faithful King, who liveth and reigneth forever and ever. Again, Kaf conceals Aleph and Pei, the air and the mouth, since in full it is Kaf Aleph Pei, KAP. Also, it is written that God made a covenant with Abraham concerning the number 10, the Sephiroth, etc., and that this refers to the 10 fingers of the hands and the 10 toes of the feet, and also to the covenant of the tongue and of its circumcision. Now, Yod is the phallus, and Tau is the phallus in extension, and Resh is the head of the phallus, which is with its concealed eye, and Kaf is the palm of the hand, which conceals the Yod, and as shown, the Yod and the Kaf equals Pei, the mouth which uttered the covenant, and Aleph is his holy covenant. See Vision and Voice and Sefer Yetzirah in regard to these statements. And Resh, the head, combined with the line, forms Bet, which is the house of God, in which Sheen, the Holy Spirit, is concealed. Also, Bet is Mercury, but this is the universal Mercury, which conceals the three mothers, which form the central pillar of the tree, by which one ran and returned. As also, he combines in his symbol all the planets, including the sun and moon, for He, or he represents the supreme intelligence of the beginning. A few further considerations. The Sephiroth Kether, Tiferet, Yesod, and Malkuth equals 1 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10 equals 26 equals Yod He Vav He. Bina, Gibra, and Hod equals 358 equals 358, the serpent and the Messiah, and Netzach, Chesed, and Hokmah equals 742 equals the Ark of the Covenant. Also, Binah, Hokmah, and Tifereth equals 326 and 326 is Yod He Shin Vav He Yeshua, or the descent of the Holy Spirit Sheen into the four elements Yod He Vav He, the old Jehovah. And again, I was looking that up more, and so yeah, I'm no expert on Hebrew, but from what I searched, that's just not how you spell Joshua or Yeshua in Hebrew. In fact, most of the ways I saw that spelt it all ended it with Oyen. It was Yod He Vav Shin Oyen with the spelling that I was coming up with. But again, I'm no expert in the Hebrew language. Maybe you are. Maybe you can give us some clarity on that, huh? In the comments down below. Okay, so here, figure 17, we see the triad from Hokmah Bina down to Tifereth, and then the sheen here with its arms on each of these paths, boom, 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 here, going up. And the numbers of the Sephiroth, Bina plus Gibura plus Hod plus Malkuth plus Netzach plus Chesed and Hokmah equals 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 10 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2 equals 39, the eternal one. And together with those of the middle pillar, 1 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10 equals 26, we obtain 39 plus 26 equals 65 equals Adonai, the Lord. Okay. Okay. Frater Achad with your Kabbalistic insanity. Sick. Section 10. Enough has been written in regard to these holy mysteries, which are mysteries no longer in the old sense of the word. Enough, at least, to prove without shadow of doubt the fulfillment of some of the prophecies of both the old and new books of the law, to make possible the plans for a perfect temple and a true understanding of the Holy Covenant. This universal temple is lit by the Holy Spirit of the one true God, so that in very truth, as it was written by the prophet of the new Aeon, 666, the beast, in the vision and the voice, in the eighth ether, to him that understandeth at last do I deliver the secrets of truth in such wise that the least of the little children of the light may run to the knees of the great mother and be brought to understand. For this great mother is Ma'at, the lady of truth, of whom it is prophesied in Liber Legis in a veiled manner, chapter 3, verse 34. See the comment in the Equinox, volume 1, chapter 7. And also more openly in Liber Aash, creation, Equinox, volume 1, 6. Set is his holy covenant, which he shall display in the great day of Ma'at. That is, being interpreted, the master of the temple of AA, whose name is truth. For yet again, notice that the key letter of the change from the first to the second order is Aleph, and the changed letters in the third order are He, Resh, Vav, Mem, Het, Yod, Samek. So that in all we have the one secret name, Hrumachis, which is 330. That is to say, the Holy Spirit of truth and justice. Fini. All right. Well, well, well. Coop TGS was right. It gets crazy at the end. Kabbalistic crazy, baby. So, if nothing else, if that makes absolutely no sense to you, let it make sense in the way that there's kind of some proof, the way that not everyone's Kabbalah is the same. So Frater Achad sure seems to have figured out his Kabbalah in connection to the key or to the book of the law and a key that made sense to him. But I'm sure many people could just chalk this up to Kabbalistic insanity, but that's still part of the point. So here we see that full tree now with all his correspondences on it. So from the bottom up, from Malkuth up, he still has Aleph going from Malkuth to Yesod, Dalet going from Malkuth to Venus, Bet going from Malkuth to Hod. So the Fool, the Empress, and the Magician. Then from Yesod to Netzach, we have Het, so the Chariot. From Yesod to Hod, we have Gimel, the High Priestess. From Yesod up to Tifereth, we have Mem, the Hanged Man. From Hod over to Netzach, we have Taurus, Vow, we have the Hierophant. We pulled him today. Okay. Um, Connecting to Tifereth, Netzach to Tifereth, we have Strength, Tet. From Hod to Tifereth, we have Virgo, Yod, we have the Hermit, Hod to Tifereth. Then going from Tifereth up to Chesed, we have Kuf, the Moon, Pisces. From Tifereth up to Gibra, we have Hey, which is going to be, why am I the Emperor? Is that supposed to be Hey? Yeah, that's definitely supposed to be Hey. All right. From Hod up, so then going over here to the left pillar, Hod up to Gibra, Zion, the lovers. Then from Gibra up to Bina, the tower, Pei. From over on the other pillar, Netzach up to Chesed, we have Libra, so justice. And then from Chesed up to Hokmah, we have Samek, temperance, or the art card. Now from Gibra over to Chesed, he gave us Noon, the death card. Then from Tifereth up, so up to Bina from Tifereth, we have Zadi, which is the star. Although they said Zadi is not the star, so I guess the star, I don't know. Depends on how he was switching it up. So either the star is going to be from Tifereth to Gibra, or the star is going to be from Tifereth to Bina. From Tifereth up to Hokmah, he has Oyen, so the devil. Huh. And then, okay, then there's Sheen. We already knew. So Tifereth going up to Kether, Sheen, the judgment card. Now from Bina over to Hokmah, Resh, the sun. From Hokmah up to Kether, Kof, Wheel of Fortune. And then from Bina up to Kether, Tau, the universe. Boy, oh boy. Well, maybe that makes a whole lot of sense to you. I mean, I can definitely see some of what he's saying here and some of what he's got figured out, but I'm certainly not going to chuck out the old correspondences, which we see over here on this plate, this diagram. Um, yeah, familiarize yourself with this for sure first. These Golden Dawn original correspondences that we put onto the tree. Definitely, I mean, even Frater Achad, the author of this book, said to do so, as we've been over. So definitely do that, because before you go and flip the whole tree upside down and decide to start adding these correspondences on, you should just definitely have a firm understanding of where we start at. But hey, that was, like I said, a very interesting read, and if nothing else, it gives us a glimpse into just how insane doing Kabbalah should drive you. Okay, in the back, yeah, we just have the notes here. Cool. Well, congrats, everybody. Our first Kabbalah book on this channel, Q.B.L. That was a very interesting read. It was a lot of fun. I'd say it was mostly a pretty solid book. I mean, he gave us that initial understanding, certainly enough to go off and to figure out where the correspondences and everything go, the way the tree works, before scrambling it all up with these keys from the Book of the Law. Well, it'll give you some food for thought. And it's giving me some. I don't know just how much I want to chew on that food as of yet, but I don't know. I'll probably do the thing where I'll lay out my tarot cards and actually like look at the tarot cards in that order and go from there. I would recommend doing that, but with the initial order. I know Travis has also recommended that. Thanks, Travis. You've really given us a lot of help. So thank you. Gratitude to you for sure. Is you take the tarot cards, put all your aces, twos, threes, fours, fives, six, sevens, eights, nines, and tens, along with your kings, queens, princes, and princesses onto the spheres, just on the carpet on your floor or something. And then go ahead and lay those trumps out on the appropriate paths. And do that as meditation techniques. I mean, you should definitely be using the tarot for that already. Use the tarot for sure as a, not just like a tool of divination, but as a tool to help you meditate upon and better understand the Kabbalah. Well, you guys, I don't really have much more to say other than our next book, I'm still deciding. But in the meantime, I'll probably bring you a little more HGA stuff. I think I know what I want to read, but it's a choice between two books as of right now, and so I'm just deciding which of those two. And we do need to do a reading of the Book of the Law, which we will do. Don't you worry. Part of me feels tempted to wait until the feast of the Book of the Law, so the 3 day writing of the Book of the Law, and then we could do like a reading each day of that. That feels kind of appropriate for sure, but I also don't want to keep everybody waiting around if we've got people super eager to jump into that. But without your feedback, without any of you letting me know, then I'm left to just I'm left to my own devices, and that's fine. I'll get us squared away. Don't you worry. But your guys' feedback helps. Your guys letting me know one way or another what you would prefer, what's helpful to you, all of that. I will absolutely always take into consideration. And yep, that's gonna do it for today. So I hope you all aren't scratching your heads too bad. I hope you're all gonna take the other advice to lock this tree in, for those of you who haven't, to heart, and the methods that we have obtained from in here and that I've given you. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I really got nothing else to say today. So much love to you all for popping in, for taking an interest in this along with me, because it's going to help your practice for sure. When I look at my practice before and after really diving into the Kabbalah, well, I just really can't imagine it without Kabbalah at this point. But that's just me. I also know people who think that the Kabbalah is just a big, confusing, pointless mess. And so for them, hey, that's fine. They still have their practices, and they're still succeeding. All right, well, this has been J.B.L and Q.B.L by Frater Achad. Again, thank you for the support. If you're new, if you enjoy this content, be sure to hit a like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to be on the lookout for what I bring you next. You're bound to like it for sure. That much I can guarantee. If I can't guarantee you what it is as of now, I can at least guarantee you'll enjoy it. Okay, bye bye.